pleasant tour along the banks of the mighty Fraser River is in store for you tonight, as we've accepted an invitation from Starline Tours of Richmond to enjoy one of their popular Fraser River boat tours. Good evening and welcome to Red's Classic Theater. Actually, there are 6 different Starline boat tours you can take. We'll tell you more about it throughout the program. Our movie this week is the 1958 melodrama The Long Hot Summer, starring Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman, who were newlyweds at the time. She was coming off an Oscar-winning performance for her role in The Three Faces of Eve, while he was preparing to work with beautiful Elizabeth Taylor in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Certainly a test for a just married man. Our movie also features Orson Welles, whose sensational picture Citizen Kane both made and nearly wrecked his acting and directing careers. Here's Act 1 of The Long Hot Summer. We're aboard the Atria Star with Starline Tours of Richmond, enjoying one of their popular Fraser River tours. Each year, about 3,500 passengers go cruising aboard Starline Tours, which is enjoying its 5th year in business. We're right now on the Fraser River, and it's typical with the fishing boats and the houseboats of a lifestyle that many of us who live in the city don't realize goes on right at our doorstep. Another interesting feature of this area, near Rifle Island and Ladner, is the return trip through Dee's Slough. At one point, you actually pass over the George Massey Tunnel that carries thousands of commuters underground between Richmond and Delta every day. We'll be back with more in just a moment. As I mentioned at the opening of the show, Starline offers other fascinating tours other than the one we're enjoying today. One of the most popular may be the early spring Sea Lion tour to the lightship at the mouth of the Fraser River to see these migrating mammals during their visit in April and May. Now, if sea lions aren't your thing, you can cruise the Cannery Channel in Steveston, enjoy the new Westminster waterfront, or take a run up the river to Pitt Lake. For information and reservations, call Starline Tours at 272-9187. That's 272-9187. And now back to The Long Hot Summer. Hope you're enjoying The Long Hot Summer, starring Paul Newman on Red's Classic Theater. Since 1955, Paul Newman has shown good judgment, or maybe it was just pure good luck, to appear in a high percentage of superior motion pictures. He won raves for his role as real-life boxer Rocky Graziano in Somebody Up There Likes Me, and for a convincing portrayal of Billy the Kid in The Left-Handed Gun. That same year, Newman also received an Oscar nomination for his work opposite Liz Taylor in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Known for dark, brooding roles like the pool room shark in The Hustler, Newman surprised audiences by also showing a deft touch in comedy roles. Teamed with Robert Redford, Newman scored big hits with Butch Cassidy in The Sundance Kid and with Redford again in The Sting. And now let's return to The Long Hot Summer. Aboard the Atria Star on the Fraser River right here off Steveston, time to look at our mailbag and some of your recent requests. Deborah Graham from Surrey requested Remember the Night, starring Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck. And Stella Tong from Surrey would like to see War Paint. Now, this movie starred Robert Stack and Joan Taylor. And George Cundy from Burnaby requested Gentleman's Agreement. This great movie starred Gregory Peck and Dorothy McGuire. And don't forget, if there's a motion picture you'd like to see or the suggestion of a location, write to Red Robinson, KBUS-TV in Vancouver. That's Red Robinson, KBUS-TV in Vancouver. Now be sure to join us next Sunday night for Romance in Rome with Clifton Webb and Dorothy McGuire in 3 Coins in the Fountain. And 2 weeks from tonight, join us for one of the all-time great musicals, South Pacific, starring Mitzi Gaynor and Rosanna Brazzi. And now back to The Long Hot Summer. Hope you're enjoying The Long Hot Summer, featuring Joanne Woodward this week on Red's Classic Theater. And while her husband's film accomplishments are legendary, Joanne Woodward's are no less. Moving from television to the cinema in 1955, she won acclaim and an Oscar as Best Actress for The Three Faces of Eve in 1957. Miss Woodward followed up with more good work in The Fugitive Kind in 1960, and in pictures directed by husband Paul Newman. Rachel in 1968, The Effect of Gamma Rays on Man in the Moon Marigolds in 1972, and Harry and Son in 1983. Like her husband, Joanne Woodward has long been one of the most intensive political and social activists in show business. and she's often campaigned and supported liberal causes throughout her life. And now let's return to Joanne Woodward co-starring in The Long Hot Summer. From the waterways of the Lower Mainland with Starline Tours, it's time for our movie trivia quiz. In the 1967 movie Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman played the role of a convict enduring the hardships of prison in the Deep South. Our question is, for what crime was Newman's character sent to prison? We'll be back with the answer in just a moment. Here's the answer to our movie trivia quiz. In the 1967 movie Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman played the role of a convict sent to prison in the Deep South for chopping the heads off parking meters. Paul Newman had been nominated 5 times in his career for Oscars, but never won. Not even for his role as Fast Eddie Felson in The Hustler. However, he reprised the role 25 years later and won an Oscar for The Color of Money in 1986. And now let's return to The Long Hot Summer. Well, that's a wrap for this week's edition of Red's Classic Theater. Hope you enjoyed The Long Hot Summer, starring Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman. And join us next Sunday night on Red's Classic Theater for 3 Coins in the Fountain, starring Clifton Webb, Dorothy McGuire, and Gene Peters, one of the top movies of 1954. In the meantime, if there's a suggestion of a location or a motion picture you'd like to see, write to yours truly, Red Robinson, KVUS TV in Vancouver. We'd like to thank Russ Brown of Starline Tours for hosting our show this week. If you'd like a tour of the Fraser River, call Russ and Starline Tours at 272-9187. That's 272-9187. Join us next week on Red's Classic Theater for 3 Coins in the Fountain. Until then, from Steveston, thank you for being with us, and good night, everybody.